Set back off River Road in Poolesville on 34 bucolic acres in the county's Ag Reserve is Rocklands Farm. But this farm is nothing like the farms you see in children's storybooks. 28-year-old Greg Glenn is the man running Rocklands Farm. He spent most of his life in Bethesda, but then in 2003 his family moved to the farm. After graduating from Virginia Tech in 2009, he and a friend pitched the idea of running a farm business to Glenn's father. Not something that was really on his radar in college, but there was one desire he couldn't shake.
A passion to feed people and to nourish people, a passion for kind of a local, robust food economy or food shed, and then just really just a desire to get into the soil, like what is of the earth, and being a part of that is really powerful, because we live in a world of plastic, a lot of plastic things, and very electronic, very detached, and so there's something that is just very beautiful and romantic about being in the soil. But you're so close to the city, but it's still very peaceful.
Glenn is the new face of farming here in Montgomery County and across the nation. As older generation farmers retire, their young counterparts are entering the trade with the appetite of bringing their customers a little closer to where their food comes from.
I think people just really want an honest connection for where their food comes from, who grew it, even to why it was grown or how it was grown. I think people just have a really genuine care about that, and they just want to be a part of that.
You know, when we look back in our past history, we know that all of our foods were grown locally and produced. We used to go to farmers markets, we used to go to those local stands and get the fresh produce and then prepare that for our meals. You know, we didn't shop at grocery stores as much for those kinds of things, and so I think it's important for us to get back to that. It really is along the lines of the healthy mantra that we're certainly seeing not only throughout our Montgomery County region, but also nationwide.
Though Glenn's degree in agricultural economics from Virginia Tech didn't teach him how to run a farm, he's gained a lot of knowledge from the internet, other farmers, and from people like Jeremy Chris, who has worked his entire career here promoting the viability of agriculture in Montgomery County.
One of the challenges with the direct marketing folks that are wanting to grow table food crops is access to land. Land is so expensive here in the county. Trying to lease land sometimes, you need to have a special relationship between the farmer and the landlord. If you're going to be growing table food crops, you really need to know that you're going to have the property not only this year, but the next few years, because of the capital investment that you're going to be making. It might be irrigation, it might be soil conditioning to have more organic matter in the soil.
With that in mind, the county recently started its new farmer pilot program, where interested farmers are put in contact with landowners who have agreed to at least a 5-year lease. The participants must have already demonstrated they know how to grow food. Last year was the first growing season for this new crop of county farmers, and Chris says the program is just another way the county is working to attract farmers from the region to put roots down here.
We have a lot to be proud of, and I really feel that we wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for the leaders that help us.
And Greg Glenn agrees with that assessment. He lives on the farm, which is owned by his parents, with his wife Anna and their 2-year-old son Fritz. They will welcome another baby this fall. At any given time, there are about 10 people working at the farm, tending the animals, raising vegetables, and growing grapes for their newest endeavor, a vineyard that was started by his father and is now becoming a big draw for the farm. They also handle events like weddings there.
And that's what Rocklands is all about. They've got a lot of diverse operations that they're doing there, including the on-site farm market, the winery. So they've got a lot of interesting things going on there.
The opportunity for young farmers or beginning farmers, there is a lot of people in Montgomery County that are either health conscious or have provided a little bit larger amount within their food budget to afford some more of the local food, or people who are just curious about it. You know, there's a lot of opportunity to provide for the many people, not only in Montgomery County, but just in the local area.
The crew at Rocklands Farm is serious about its commitment to nourishing the community. Each month, they take a dinner to Stepping Stone Shelter in Rockville, and the farm also offers CSA memberships, with both Glenn and Chris say are in high demand.
That's an extremely effective business model, especially for smaller farms. We had about 20 members when we started, and now we have 42. It's such a great way to connect with our customers.
More and more people want to know where their food is coming from. And we're also seeing a greater appreciation of the residents that live down county and trying to understand where the ag community is, where their food is coming from, and developing relationships with farmers.
Rocklands uses natural techniques that makes the farm its own ecosystem. They rotate their fields on a regular basis after those fields have been grazed. The manure that is left serves as natural fertilizer. The hogs at the farm eat food from manna food that would otherwise be thrown away, as well as grains from some local breweries. Caring for the land that Glenn cultivates is a big part of who he is as a farmer.
So that's the vision, for us to be stewards of creation, is that not only our kids and grandkids, but the generations that we'll never meet would have that opportunity to have, fertile land to derive a lifestyle and a career and derive value from. And so that's how we want to be stewards of the soil.
And the bottom line for Rocklands Farm? Though the initial startup costs were high, Glenn says they are growing at the rate he expected. As is the case for many farmers, making a living from selling food is tough, but at Rocklands, it's a balance.
And I wouldn't say that there's one is more or less important than the other. I think they work well together to balance that financial, the environmental, and the social aspects of what we're doing. So rather than prioritizing, really keeping them in balance.